All right, settle in for this one, because what went down in Parliament wasn't just your usual political back and forth. It was full-blown chaos, the kind that makes you stop mid-scroll and think, wait, did she actually just say that? And yes, she did. Pauline Hanson didn't just speak, she unloaded. No filters, no holding back, just straight fire directed at the government, and specifically at Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong. Whether you agree with her or not, one thing is certain, she got people paying attention. Now, let's be real for a second. Parliament can sometimes feel
Minister
like background
Gallagher,
noise.
The Prime Minister promised 100% renewables would deliver the cheapest form of power. The Capacity Investment Scheme is a key part of Labor's reckless energy plan that shifts the costs and risk of wind and solar onto taxpayers. Australian families and businesses are already paying soaring energy prices. If Labor is so confident this is the cheapest approach, it should be able to state the cost clearly and publicly. Can the Minister please inform the Senate of the total cost of Labor's Capacity Investment Scheme in the 25-26 budget, and to assist the Minister, is it within the quantified contingent liabilities?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Wong.
Thank you, President. Just a point of order. My recollection is, and I might be wrong, Senator Hanson, is that the Capacity Investment Scheme is in the climate portfolio, not the Treasury portfolio, so you would need to address your question to a different minister.
Before we continue, do us a little favour by subscribing to the channel, because over 98% of you watching haven't subscribed. It costs you nothing, not even a penny, to join this channel. Have you subscribed? Thanks so much.
People arguing in suits, throwing around big words and somehow saying very little. But this was different. This had energy. This had frustration. And honestly, it felt like someone finally snapped and said what a lot of people have been quietly thinking for a long time. Hanson kicked things off by going straight for the jugular. Globalisation, government policies, environmental restrictions, you name it. According to her, this isn't just a policy failure, it's a full-blown national decline. She painted a picture of a country rich in resources, yet somehow struggling to stand on its own 2 feet. And that's the part that really hits. Because when you step back and think about it, Australia is one of the most resource-rich nations on the planet. So how does a country like that end up dealing with fuel shortages, skyrocketing energy costs, and industries that seem to be disappearing one by one?
The role of political leaders.
The Marxists, the Communists, the Socialists, the toxic Labor Party and the hateful Greens. The hypocrites who bring hordes of people here in the middle of an unprecedented housing and rental crisis. The idiots who flood Australia with people who mean us deliberate harm, who despise our values, who laugh at our complacency and who take advantage of our leaders' weakness.
But at a time when there is social division, leaders have a choice. They have a choice to either bring people together or divide them.
On one side are the Australians who built this country, the battlers, the people from the bush, the people who contributed to this country with their hard work and their blood, sweat and tears. The diggers who fought to defend the rights and principles on which this nation was founded. The Australians, now left disenfranchised, as their country has changed for the worse right in front of their eyes.
That's where things start to get uncomfortable. Because while politicians argue over climate policies and international relations, there are farmers out there right now wondering if they can even afford to plant their next crop. Think about that. The very people responsible for putting food on the table are struggling to stay afloat. Hanson brought this up, and honestly, it's hard to ignore. Fuel is too expensive, fertiliser is hard to come by, and the uncertainty is crippling. If farmers hesitate, the entire supply chain feels it. Food prices go up, communities suffer, and suddenly this isn't just a rural issue, it's everyone's problem. And yet, you don't hear nearly enough about it. Instead, what we do hear is reassurance, statements, carefully crafted responses telling us everything is under control. But is it really? Because while those statements are being made, small businesses are quietly shutting their doors. Not a handful, tens of thousands. Dreams, livelihoods, years of hard work, gone. And when Hanson threw out that number, it didn't just sound like a statistic, it sounded like a warning. Now here's where it gets even more intense. She didn't just stop at domestic issues. She zoomed out and connected everything to the bigger global picture. Conflicts overseas, rising tensions, and the possibility of major disruptions to global trade. And whether you like her delivery or not, she touched on something that's genuinely concerning: dependence. Because right now, Australia relies heavily on imports, particularly from China. Billions upon billions worth of goods flowing into the country every year. But what happens if that flow stops?
It's not some wild conspiracy theory. It's a real question. We've already seen how fragile global supply chains can be. A single disruption can send shockwaves through entire economies. So when Hanson talks about self-sufficiency, it might sound dramatic, but there's a layer of logic underneath it. A country that can't sustain itself is a country that's vulnerable. And vulnerability, especially in uncertain times, is not a position you want to be in. Meanwhile, as all of this unfolds, Penny Wong sits there, calm, composed, almost unbothered. And you've got to give her credit for that level of control, because while Hanson is practically shaking the walls with her speech, Wong maintains that steady, diplomatic presence. It's like watching two completely different worlds collide. The raw emotion of frustration versus the polished calm of political experience. But here's the thing. Calm doesn't automatically mean things are fine. Sometimes it just means the chaos hasn't reached you yet. And that's where this whole situation becomes fascinating. Because beneath all the shouting and interruptions, there's a deeper question lingering in the air. Is Australia heading in the right direction? Hanson clearly thinks not, and she's not afraid to say it. In fact, she's been saying it for decades. Her stance against globalisation, her push for self-reliance, her criticism of environmental policies, none of this is new. What's changed is the context. What's changed is how these issues are starting to hit everyday people. Energy prices aren't just numbers on a chart, they're bills that families have to pay. Manufacturing decline isn't just an economic trend, it's jobs disappearing. And when enough of these things start stacking up, people begin to notice. Now, does Hanson have all the answers? That's a whole different debate. But what she's doing, what she did in that moment, is forcing the conversation. And sometimes that's exactly what's needed. Because ignoring problems doesn't make them go away. If anything, it makes them worse. So yeah, the Senate might have looked like chaos. It might have sounded like a shouting match. But underneath all that noise, there was something real. Something worth paying attention to. And that's why this moment matters. Not because of who said what, or who interrupted who, but because of what it reveals about the current state of things. A country at a crossroads, a government under pressure, and a growing sense among everyday people that something isn't quite right. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Hanson is onto something here? Or is this just more political noise? Are these real warning signs? Or are they being blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those conversations that needs more than just politicians talking over each other. We need real voices in it. And if you made it this far, don't just sit there quietly. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around. Because if this is where things are heading, trust me, you're gonna want to keep watching.